Captain Maya Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Defiant Dawn and watched Mars burn. The red planet that humans had called home for 200 years was now a ball of fire and smoke. Enemy ships moved like dark clouds around it, shooting down at the cities below. Every flash of light meant another 1,000 people were dead. "Captain, we're getting the last transmission from Mars Colony," said her communications officer. The young man's hands shook as he worked his controls. "They say the orbital defense grid is down. The aliens are landing ground troops now." Maya closed her eyes for a moment. Mars Colony had been home to 12 million people. Now, it was gone. Just like the other colonies had been going dark one by one for the past 3 weeks. The aliens called themselves the Hegemony of Suns, and they had come with more ships than humanity had ever seen. "Any word from the outer colonies?" Maya asked, though she already knew the answer. "Nothing from Europa Base, nothing from Titan Station. The last signal from the asteroid mining facilities was 2 days ago," the officer replied. His voice was getting quieter with each report. Dr. Lisa Chang walked onto the bridge carrying a datapad. She looked tired and worried. Lisa had been studying the aliens since they first appeared, trying to find some weakness in their technology or tactics. So far, she had found nothing that would help. "Captain, I need to show you something," Lisa said. "I've been monitoring energy readings from Earth. Something strange is happening down there." Maya looked at the readings on Lisa's pad. Strange waves of energy were coming from deep inside the Earth. The patterns looked almost like a heartbeat, getting faster and stronger each day. "What do you think it means?" Maya asked. "I don't know," Lisa admitted. "But it started the same day the aliens arrived in our solar system. It's like the planet is waking up or responding to something." Before Maya could respond, alarms started ringing all over the bridge. The tactical officer called out, "Captain, we have incoming ships. It's an elven vessel, but it's badly damaged." Maya had heard of elves, but had never seen one. They kept to themselves in distant star systems and rarely had contact with humans. "Let them dock," she ordered. "Maybe they can tell us what's happening out there." The elven ship was small and sleek, but burn marks covered its silver hull. When the airlock opened, a tall woman with pointed ears and silver hair stepped onto the human ship. She wore armor that seemed to be made of some kind of living metal, and her eyes were the color of starlight. "I am Ambassador Zarath of the Elven High Council," she said. Her voice was musical but urgent. "I seek sanctuary with the humans of Earth." Maya stepped forward. "I'm Captain Rodriguez. You're welcome here, but I have to ask why an elven ship is running from the same aliens that are attacking us." Zarath's expression grew dark. "Because the hegemony of suns is not what they appear to be. They are slaves to something much worse, and they have come to Earth for a very specific reason." "What reason?" Maya asked. "To harvest what you humans call the life essence of your world," Zarath explained. "Your planet holds something that the true masters of the hegemony have been searching for across the galaxy. Something that was hidden here long ago by warriors whose blood still flows in human veins." Lisa stepped closer. "What kind of warriors?" "The kind that once ruled the stars and protected all living things," Zarath said. "The kind that your enemies fear more than death itself. The ancestors." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. She had heard old stories about ancient human warriors, but they were just legends. Tales told to children about brave fighters who could defeat any enemy. "Those are just stories," Maya said. "Are they?" Zarath asked. "Tell me, Captain, have your people been having strange dreams lately? Dreams of battles they never fought and weapons they've never seen?" Maya's breath caught. She had been having those dreams. Dreams where she commanded vast fleets and fought enemies among the stars. She had thought it was just stress from the war. "How did you know about the dreams?" Maya asked. "Because the awakening has begun," Zarath replied. "The blood of the ancient warriors is stirring in human veins. Your planet's defense mechanism is activating." Suddenly, another alarm sounded. The tactical officer's voice was filled with panic. "Captain, we have massive alien fleet movements. It looks like the entire hegemony force is moving toward Earth." Maya looked at the tactical display. Thousands of alien ships were forming up for what looked like a final assault on humanity's home world. Her small fleet of human ships looked like gnats compared to the enemy armada. "How long until they reach Earth?" Maya asked. "6 hours, Captain." Maya turned to Zarath. "You said something about an awakening. If these ancient warriors are real, where are they? Because in 6 hours, the human race is going to be extinct." Zarath looked out at the approaching alien fleet. "They are there, Captain. They have always been there. They just needed to remember who they are." As if responding to her words, Maya's communication system lit up with signals from Earth. Voices from around the planet were reporting strange things. People were changing, moving faster than humanly possible, understanding technology they had never seen before. In factories and military bases, workers were modifying weapons and ships with designs that came from nowhere. "Captain," her communications officer called out, "I'm getting reports from all over Earth. People are saying they suddenly know how to fight these aliens. They're asking for orders." Maya looked at the tactical display again. The alien fleet was getting closer, but now she could see something else. Ships were launching from Earth's surface, not just military ships, but civilian craft that had been modified with technology that shouldn't exist. The energy readings Lisa had detected were getting stronger. "All ships. This is Captain Rodriguez," Maya said into her communicator. "We're going to make our stand here, for Earth, for humanity, and for whatever legacy we're about to discover." The alien fleet came forward like a dark wave, ready to wash over the last remnants of human civilization. But deep in Maya's heart, something ancient and powerful was beginning to stir. The dreams she had been having weren't just dreams. They were memories, passed down through blood and bone from warriors who had once stood against the darkness and won. The battle for Earth was about to begin, but humanity would not face it as the same species that had been running and hiding for weeks. Something old and terrible and wonderful was waking up in human hearts, and the aliens were about to learn why their masters had spent so long searching for the planet called Earth. Amy Foster had been fixing cars and trucks in her small garage for 15 years. She knew every bolt and wire in human machinery, but when she woke up that morning, she could suddenly understand things she had never seen before. The broken alien fighter that had crashed near her town 3 days ago made perfect sense to her now. She could see how to fix it, how to make it better, how to turn it into something the aliens had never imagined. Her hands moved without her, thinking about it. She pulled wires and circuits from the alien ship and connected them to human power systems. The result was a weapon that could punch through alien armor like it was paper. Amy didn't know how she knew this would work, but she was absolutely certain it would. "Amy, what are you doing?" asked her neighbor, Tracy Wells. Tracy was a marine biologist who studied fish and ocean creatures, but lately she had been acting. Strange, too. She claimed she could hear voices in her head, voices that spoke in languages she didn't recognize but somehow understood. "I'm building something that will help us fight back," Amy said, not looking up from her work. "And you need to start listening to those voices, Tracy. They're trying to tell you something important." Across the country, Nicole Barnes stood in front of her empty classroom and felt the minds of awakened humans connecting to hers. She had been a teacher for 20 years, good at organizing students and managing chaos. Now she could feel the thoughts and locations of hundreds of people who were changing like she was. They were all waiting for someone to tell them what to do. Nicole closed her eyes and let her mind reach out across the planet. She could sense Amy working on alien technology in her garage. She could feel Tracy beginning to understand the strange creature that had appeared in the ocean near her research station. All over Earth, people were discovering abilities they shouldn't have and knowledge they had never learned. "This is Nicole Barnes," she said into her phone, somehow knowing that every awakened human would hear her words. "I know you're all confused and scared, but we need to work together. The aliens are coming, and we're the only thing standing between them and the end of our world." In the ocean near Tracy's marine research station, something moved in the deep water. It was beautiful and terrible at the same time, with skin like blue crystal and eyes that held the wisdom of ages. When it spoke, Tracy could understand every word, even though it made no sound. "I am Veltara of the Nereid people," the creature said into Tracy's mind. "My kind served the hegemony because we had no choice, but I remember the old days when we were free. The awakening of your people gives us hope." "What awakening?" Tracy asked out loud. "Your species carries the blood of the ancient ones. Veltara explained. "The warriors who once protected all life in the galaxy. They hid their legacy in your genetic code, waiting for the day when it would be needed again. That day has come." Back on the Defiant Dawn, Captain Maya Rodriguez felt the change in herself growing stronger. Her tactical awareness was expanding beyond anything she had experienced before. She could see the movements of the alien fleet not just as they were, but as they would be. She knew where they would attack and how they would move before they did it. "Captain," called her communications officer, "we're getting organized resistance reports from all over Earth. Civilian groups are coordinating attacks on alien ground forces. They're using tactics and weapons that aren't in any military manual." Lisa Chang looked up from her instruments. "The energy readings from Earth are off the charts now. It's like the entire planet is becoming some kind of massive computer or communication system." On her homeworld of Alfheim, war singer Lyrelai received the message she had been waiting for. The ancient pact was being honored. Humanity was awakening, which meant the elves were bound by old oaths to come to their aid. She gathered her fastest ships and best warriors. "We fly to Earth," she told her captains. "The children of the ancestors call for aid, and we will answer." The elven ships were smaller than the massive alien vessels, but they moved like living things through space. Their hulls seemed to bend light around them, making them nearly invisible until they struck. Lyrelai had been trained in the old ways of war, the tactics that had been used when elves and humans fought side by side against the darkness. Amy Foster finished her work on the alien weapon just as the first wave of enemy ships entered Earth's atmosphere. The device she had built from crashed alien technology and human engineering was unlike anything either species had created before. When she fired it at the attacking ships, it tore through their shields and hulls like they were made of cloth. "How? Did you know that would work?" Tracy asked, watching alien fighters fall from the sky. "I don't know," Amy admitted. "I just knew." Nicole Barnes felt the network of awakened minds growing stronger. People all over the planet were connecting to her mental web, sharing knowledge and coordinating their actions. A factory worker in Detroit suddenly knew how to modify human missiles to penetrate alien armor. A programmer in Tokyo cracked alien communication codes without understanding how. A farmer in Brazil built a device that could jam alien sensors using nothing but tractor parts and intuition. "We're not fighting alone," Nicole announced to the network. "The elves are coming to help us." As if summoned by her words, Lyrelai's fleet appeared near Earth's moon. The elven ships moved with grace and deadly purpose, striking at alien vessels that thought they were safe behind their own lines. Elven weapons, powered by technology that sang rather than roared, carved through enemy formations. Captain Rodriguez felt a communication request from the elven fleet commander. When she accepted it, a hologram of war singer Lyrelai appeared on her bridge. "Captain Rodriguez," Lyrelai said, her voice carrying the authority of centuries, "I am here to honor the Old Alliance. My ships are at your disposal." "What Old Alliance?" Maya asked. "The one forged in blood and starlight when your ancestors and mine stood together against the Void," Lyrelai replied. "The pact that bound our peoples to aid each other when the darkness returned." Maya felt something stir in her memory. Not her own memory, but something deeper. Images of vast battles fought among the stars, of human and elven warriors standing back to back against terrible enemies. The dreams she had been having weren't dreams at all. They were inherited memories, passed down through generations. "Tell me what I need to know," Maya said. "Your people are remembering who they truly are," Lyrelai explained. "The ancestors were the greatest warriors the galaxy has ever known, and they made sure their legacy would survive even if they did not. That legacy lives in human blood, in human hearts, in human courage. On Earth's surface, the awakened humans were proving Lyrelai's words true. Amy Foster's weapons were being copied and mass-produced by people who had never seen the original designs. Nicole Barnes was coordinating resistance efforts across the planet with a precision that amazed military commanders. Tracy Wells was learning to communicate with other Nereid rebels who were turning against their hegemony masters. The first major battle between the awakened humans and the alien invaders took place over the ruins of New York. Human fighters, modified with technology that seemed to improve itself, engaged alien squadrons in aerial combat. The humans fought with a tactical brilliance that confused and frightened their enemies. They anticipated every move, countered every strategy, and struck with a precision that seemed almost supernatural. "Captain," Maya's tactical officer reported, "the Earth forces are winning. They're actually pushing the aliens back." Maya watched the battle displays with growing amazement. The same humans who had been running in terror just days before were now fighting like legendary warriors. They moved with purpose and skill that came from somewhere beyond training or experience. "This is just the beginning," Liralai said. "The true test is yet to come. The masters of the hegemony will not be pleased that their slaves are losing to awakened humans." As if responding to her warning, new signals appeared on the long-range sensors. Ships unlike anything Maya had seen before were moving toward Earth. They were larger than anything in the hegemony fleet, and they radiated an energy that made her feel cold just looking at them. "What are those?" Maya asked. Liralay's expression grew grim. "The Void Wraiths, the true enemies, the ones who corrupted and enslaved the hegemony species. They're coming to see what happened to their servants." Amy Foster felt a chill run through her as she worked on her next weapon design. Something was coming, something that made the alien invaders look like children, but she also felt the strength of her awakened abilities growing. Whatever was heading toward Earth, humanity would be ready for it. The ancient warriors were stirring in human hearts, and this time they would not fall to the darkness. War singer Liralay stood beside Captain Maya Rodriguez on the bridge of the Defiant Dawn, watching as human and elven forces prepared for the next battle. The two women had discovered they could work together in ways that surprised them both. Maya's awakened tactical genius combined perfectly with Liralay's centuries of combat experience. "Your people learn quickly," Liralay observed as she watched human ships execute maneuvers that should have taken years to master. "They fight as if they have been doing this for lifetimes." "Maybe they have," Maya replied. "These memories that keep coming back feel more real than my own experiences sometimes." Melanie Gray had been a computer programmer before the awakening, but now she could touch any piece of technology and understand how it worked. When she placed her hands on captured alien equipment, she could see the flaws in its design and imagine ways to improve it. Even more amazing, she could interface directly with elven technology, something that should have been impossible for a human. "The barriers between our technologies are breaking down," Melanie reported to the combined command team. "It's like our genetic awakening is making us compatible with elven systems. I can merge human engineering with elven power sources to create weapons that neither of our species could build alone." In the depths of space, Veltara led 3 massive Nereid fleet pods toward Earth. These were not the small ships that served the hegemony, but the great bioships that her people had hidden for centuries. Each one was alive, grown rather than built, and they moved through space like cosmic whales swimming through an ocean of stars. "We come to honor the old debt," Veltara transmitted to the human-elven fleet. "When the ancestors saved our people from the first void incursion, we swore to stand with them when darkness returned. That time has come." Tracy Wells had become the bridge between the humans and the Nereid rebels. Her awakened abilities allowed her to communicate with the aquatic aliens as easily as speaking to another human. She could feel their sadness at having served the hegemony for so long, and their joy at finally being free to choose their own path. "They're not like the other aliens," Tracy explained to Nicole Barnes during one of their mental communications. "The Nereids were forced to serve. Their homeworld was conquered and their children taken hostage. Now that the awakening has begun, they think they might be able to fight back." Nicole felt the network of awakened human minds growing stronger every day. She could sense people all over Earth discovering new abilities and ancient knowledge. A maintenance worker at Europa Station, thought lost with the colony, had somehow survived and was now building weapons from asteroid mining equipment. Children, as young as 10, were displaying tactical awareness that amazed adult military officers. "It's not just happening to adults," Nicole reported to the Fleet Command. "The awakening is affecting everyone with human blood, regardless of age. It's like the genetic triggers don't care about physical maturity." Seer Captain Arya arrived with the main elven fleet, bringing with her knowledge that made the alliance even stronger. She was one of the few elves who still remembered the time when humans, elves, and Nereids had fought together against the Void Her psychic abilities helped unlock the full potential of human awakening. The humans carry more than just warrior genes, Arya explained to Lyrelei and Maya during a joint strategy meeting. They have traces of elven and Nereid DNA as well. The ancestors didn't just hide their own legacy in human blood. They preserved the essence of all three Alliance species. This revelation explained why the awakened humans could work so perfectly, with both elven and Nereid technology. They were not just human anymore, but something new and wonderful that combined the best traits of all three species. Amy Foster found that she could now understand and modify not just alien technology, but also the living bioships of the Nereids and the singing weapons of the elves. Her small garage had become a research center where breakthrough after breakthrough emerged from the combination of three different technological approaches. "I'm building something that shouldn't be possible," Amy told Tracy as she worked on her latest creation. "It's part human engineering, part elven energy manipulation, and part Nereid biointegration. It's like the three technologies want to work together." The Battle of Europa Station proved that the Alliance was more than the sum of its parts. The massive space station, thought destroyed by the hegemony, was revealed to be partially intact and defended by awakened humans who had been trapped there since the first attacks. When the combined fleet arrived to rescue them, they found that the survivors had been fighting a running battle against overwhelming odds for weeks. Captain Rodriguez led the attack with war singer Lyrelei at her side. Human ships modified with elven stealth systems and powered by Nereid bioenergy struck at enemy positions that couldn't detect them until it was too late. The aliens found themselves fighting enemies that seemed to know their every move before they made it. "How are they doing this?" transmitted a confused hegemony commander before his ship was destroyed by a weapon that combined human projectiles, elven energy fields, and Nereid bio-guidance systems. Dr. Lisa Chang had been studying the energy patterns coming from Earth, and what she discovered changed everything they thought they knew about their planet. "Earth isn't just responding to the alien threat," she announced to the fleet. "It's actively participating in our defense. The planet itself is some kind of massive technological construct built by the ancestors as a genetic repository and defense system." The truth was almost too incredible to believe. Earth's core contained technology that had been waiting for millions of years. The continents themselves were arranged to channel and focus energy. The oceans contained biomechanical systems that the ancestors had integrated with natural evolution. Humanity hadn't just evolved on Earth, they had been designed as part of Earth's defense mechanism. "The awakening isn't just affecting humans," Arya explained as more data came in from around the planet. "It's affecting the planet itself. Ancient systems are coming online. Systems that were built to protect and nurture life throughout the galaxy." As the Alliance forces celebrated their victory at Europa Station, new threats appeared on the long-range sensors. The Void Wraiths were no longer sending their hegemony servants to do their fighting. Dark ships that seemed to absorb light itself were moving toward the solar system. "They're the source of all this," Lyrelei said grimly as she studied the sensor readings. "The Void Wraiths consumed their own bodies long ago and became beings of pure hunger and hatred. They seek to devour all life and energy in the universe." Veltara's transmission reached the fleet with urgent news. "My people have been in contact with other species throughout the galaxy. The awakening on Earth has triggered awakenings on other worlds as well. Planets that the ancestors visited long ago are beginning to remember their true purpose." The realization hit Maya like a physical blow. "Earth isn't the only one, is it? The ancestors didn't put all their hope in one world?" "No," Arya confirmed. "They planted seeds of hope on thousands of worlds, each one designed to awaken when the void returned. Earth was just the first because it carried the strongest concentration of their genetic legacy." Nicole Barnes felt her mental network suddenly expand beyond Earth's atmosphere. She could sense awakened beings on distant worlds, all of them coming online as the ancient defense systems activated. Humans weren't fighting alone anymore. Across the galaxy, the descendants of the old Alliance were remembering who they were and what they were meant to do. "The Void thinks it's coming to destroy one small planet," Nicole announced to every awakened mind in the network. "But what it's really doing is walking into a trap that was set millions of years ago." Amy Foster looked up from her latest weapon, design, and smiled. The device she was building would channel energy from Earth's awakened systems, focus it through elven harmonic crystals, and deliver it via Nereid biotargeting systems. It was more than a weapon. It was a statement that the three Alliance species were stronger together than any of them could be alone. The Void Wraiths were coming, but they would find a very different galaxy waiting for them than the one they had been conquering. The children of the ancestors were awake, and they remembered how to fight the darkness. Commander Kate Murphy felt her connection with her fighter ship deepen beyond anything she had thought possible. The awakening had changed her in ways that went far beyond enhanced reflexes and tactical awareness. She could feel her ship's systems, as if they were part of her own body, and when she flew into combat, the boundary between pilot and machine seemed to disappear entirely. "This is impossible," her wingman radioed as Kate performed maneuvers that should have torn her ship apart. "No human can pull those kinds of forces." "I'm not just human anymore," Kate replied, diving through a formation of alien fighters and destroying 3 of them without taking a single hit. "None of us are." Dr. Lisa Chang stood in a chamber deep beneath Earth's surface, surrounded by walls that hummed with ancient energy. The awakening had given her the ability to communicate directly with the planet's sleeping ancestor technology, and what she learned there changed everything she thought she knew about life in the universe. The ancestors didn't just leave us. Genetic gifts, she reported to the surface through her mental link with Nicole Barnes. They integrated their consciousness with the planet itself. Earth is alive, and it's been waiting for us to be ready to hear its voice. Ashley Price had been a librarian in a small town before the awakening. She loved books and quiet spaces and helping people find information. Now she found herself becoming something far more important than she had ever imagined. The planet's awakened consciousness spoke through her, sharing knowledge that had been preserved for millions of years. "The galaxy was different once," Ashley told the gathered Alliance leaders, her voice carrying harmonies that seemed to come from the Earth itself. There was peace between thousands of species, all working together to explore and create and grow. The Void Wraiths ended that golden age, but they couldn't destroy the foundation it was built on. War singer Lyrelai felt the integration with human technology completing itself. Her ship, once purely elven in design, now incorporated systems that allowed it to interface directly with awakened human minds and Nereid bio-networks. The result was a vessel that was more than the sum of its parts, capable of feats that amazed, even her. "Our ancestors would be proud," she told Captain Rodriguez as they planned their next operation. "We have achieved the unity they dreamed of, forged in the fire of necessity but stronger for it." The revelation that shook the Alliance to its core came when Veltara made contact with Nereid populations on distant worlds. The aquatic aliens had been serving the hegemony not by choice, but because their children were held hostage on prison. Worlds throughout Void Wraith space. "We were never willing servants," Veltara explained to the Alliance command. Every Nereid fleet that fought for the hegemony knew they were betraying their own principles to keep their young ones alive. But now that the awakening has begun, we have hope that we can free them. Nicole Barnes felt the scope of the conflict expanding as more worlds came online. The mental network that had started with awakened humans on Earth now included beings from dozens of species on hundreds of worlds. She could sense the joy and relief of peoples who had thought themselves alone for centuries. "We're not fighting to save just humanity or just Earth," Nicole announced to the ever-growing network. "We're fighting to restore freedom to an entire galaxy." Commander Murphy's evolution continued as she bonded more deeply with her ship. The vessel itself began to change, incorporating organic elements that grew from her own enhanced DNA. It was becoming something new, part machine and part living creature, guided by a pilot who was herself becoming something beyond human understanding. "Kate, what's happening to your ship?" asked her squadron leader as he watched her fighter reshape itself during flight. "It's becoming what it was always meant to be," Kate replied, feeling the ship's weapons systems integrate with her nervous system. "We're both evolving." The great offensive began when Ashley Price, speaking with the voice of Earth itself, revealed the locations of Void Wraith control nodes throughout the galaxy. These were the nexus points where the energy beings maintained their grip on enslaved species, and destroying them would free billions of beings from mental domination. The ancestors built this knowledge into the planetary consciousness network. Ashley explained. Every world they touched carries a piece of the map. Now that we're all awakening together, we can see the entire scope of Void Wraith influence. Amy. Foster's latest creation was beyond anything she had imagined when her awakening first began. The device combined human engineering principles with elven energy manipulation and Nereid biointegration, but it also incorporated something new. It was connected to the planetary consciousness network, drawing power and guidance from the awakened worlds themselves. It's not just a weapon, Amy explained to the assembled scientists and engineers. It's a key that will unlock the prison the Void Wraiths have built around the galaxy. The simultaneous attacks across 12 star systems caught the hegemony forces completely off guard. Ships that had appeared to be simple human vessels suddenly displayed capabilities that defied all known physics. Weapons that combined three different technological approaches struck with precision that seemed almost magical. And everywhere the Alliance forces went, enslaved populations rose up to join them. Dr. Chang's communication with Earth's consciousness revealed the truth about the ancestor spark that the Void Wraith sought so desperately. It's not just an energy source, she reported. It's the essence of life itself, the force that drives evolution and growth and creation. The ancestors didn't just hide it on Earth. They wove it into the fabric of reality itself. The liberation of the first Nereid prison world showed the galaxy what the Alliance was truly capable of. Veltara led her bioships in a rescue operation that freed millions of young Nereids who had been held captive for generations. But more importantly, it proved that the Void Wraiths could be defeated. "Look at them," transmitted a freed Nereid, elder as the prison ships burned around them. "The humans fight with the fury of the ancient warriors, the elves move with the grace of living light, and our own people swim through space like they were born to it. This is how it was meant to be." But even as the Alliance celebrated its victories, Ashley Price brought news that sobered them all. Speaking with the combined voice of dozens of awakened worlds, she revealed the Void Wraith's ultimate plan. "They're not just trying to harvest the ancestor spark," she said, her words carrying the weight of planetary consciousness. "They're building a device that will consume all life energy in the galaxy at once. If they succeed, they'll become gods of a dead universe." Commander Murphy felt her ship self shudder at the implications. She had evolved beyond her original human form, becoming something that was part pilot, part ship, and part force of nature. But even with all her new abilities, the thought of facing a galaxy-consuming weapon filled her with dread. "Where is this device?" Captain Rodriguez asked. "At the center of the galaxy," Ashley replied. "Protected by the largest concentration of Void Wraith forces in existence. They've been building it for millions of years, using the life energy of conquered worlds to power its construction." Warsinger Liralai felt the weight of destiny settling on her shoulders. She had lived for centuries, fought in countless battles, and seen the rise and fall of civilizations, but she had never faced anything like this. "How long do we have?" she asked. "Days," Ashley said. "Maybe weeks. The device is almost complete. When they activate it, every living thing in the galaxy will be consumed in an instant." Nicole Barnes felt the network of awakened minds focusing on the central problem. Across the galaxy, beings who had just discovered their true heritage were preparing for a battle that would determine the fate of all life. The Alliance had grown strong, but was it strong enough to face the concentrated power of the Void Wraiths at the heart of the galaxy? "We go together," Nicole announced to every awakened mind in the network. "Human, elf, Nereid, and all the others who have joined us. We end this the way our ancestors would have ended it, united." Amy Foster looked at the weapon she had built and knew it wasn't enough. Nothing she could create with her hands would be sufficient to face what waited at the galactic core. But maybe, if she could connect her device to the planetary consciousness network, if she could channel the combined will of every awakened world, maybe there was a chance. The final battle was coming, and the Alliance would face it with everything. They had learned everything they had become, and everything they were willing to sacrifice to preserve life in the galaxy. Captain Maya Rodriguez no longer existed in the way she once had. Her consciousness had merged with her ship, with the fleet, with the very fabric of space around the galactic core. She could feel every allied vessel, every awakened mind, every heartbeat of life that still pulsed in the galaxy. The final battle was not taking place on any single plane of existence, but across multiple dimensions of reality itself. "I can see them," Maya's voice echoed through every allied ship simultaneously. "The Void Wraiths aren't just using the device to consume life energy. They're trying to rewrite the fundamental laws of physics. They want to create a universe where only hunger and emptiness can exist." Ambassador Zarath revealed her greatest secret as the Allied fleets approached the galactic center. The elven diplomat who had sought sanctuary with humanity was not what she appeared to be. As her disguise fell away, she stood revealed as one of the last true ancestors, kept alive for millions of years by technology beyond mortal understanding. "I have waited so long for this day," Zarath said, her true form shining with the light of ancient stars. "When my people made their last stand against the void, I was chosen to survive and guide the awakening when it finally came. You have all become more than we ever dared hope." Kelly Thompson had been a college student studying astronomy when the awakening began. Now she found herself at the center of something unimaginably vast. The Planetary Consciousness Network had chosen her as its focal point, the living bridge between the physical universe and the realm of pure thought where the final battle would be won or lost. "I can feel them all," Kelly said, her young voice carrying the wisdom of worlds. "Every person who ever lived, every dream that was dreamed, every hope that was hoped. They're all here with us, waiting to see if life will continue or if the darkness wins forever." Veltara led the complete liberation of her people as Nereid bioships throughout the galaxy turned against their void wraith masters. The aquatic aliens had endured slavery for thousands of years, but the awakening had given them something more precious than freedom. It had given them the chance to become what they were always meant to be. "We swim in starlight now," Veltara sang as her fleet pods moved through space like living constellations, no longer servants of the void, but children of infinity once again. The battle that decided the fate of the galaxy was unlike anything that had ever been fought before. It was not ships against ships or weapons against shields, but consciousness against emptiness, creation against consumption, love against hunger. The Void Wraiths had become beings of pure negative energy, and they could only be fought on the level of pure thought and will. Commander Kate Murphy had evolved far beyond her original human form. She was now something that existed partially in normal space and partially in the quantum realm where thoughts became reality. Her ship self moved through dimensions that had no names, striking at void wraith positions that existed between the spaces of normal matter. "They're not really alive anymore," Kate reported as she engaged enemy forces that existed as patterns of pure malice. "They're holes in reality shaped like intelligence, but that means they can be defeated the same way any hole can be filled." Dr. Lisa Chang stood at the heart of Earth's awakened consciousness, no longer just a scientist, but a conduit for the planet's accumulated wisdom. Through her, the voice of every ancestor installation spoke as one, coordinating the efforts of billions of awakened beings across the galaxy. "The device is almost complete," Lisa announced to the combined forces. "But we've learned something crucial. The Void Wraiths need willing surrender to activate it fully. They feed on despair and hopelessness. As long as we keep fighting, keep hoping, keep believing in tomorrow, they cannot achieve their ultimate victory." Ashley Price felt the weight of the entire galaxy's future resting on her shoulders. As the voice of the Planetary Consciousness Network, she had become the living embodiment of every world's dreams and hopes. But she had also discovered something that filled her with both terror and determination. "There's only one way to stop them," Ashley said, her words reaching every awakened mind simultaneously. "Someone has to take their place as the guardian of dimensional stability. Someone has to become the force that holds the barriers between realities in place." For a moment that lasted eternity, every awakened being in the galaxy considered the sacrifice that would be required. To save all life, one consciousness would have to transcend individual existence and become a cosmic principle, forever watching the boundaries between dimensions, but never again able to live as a mortal being. Kelly Thompson stepped forward before anyone else could volunteer. "I'll do it," she said simply. "I'm young. I have the most life ahead of me to give up. It's only fair." But the awakened humans had learned something that their ancestor heritage had always known. The greatest power in the universe was not individual sacrifice, but collective action. No one person needed to bear the burden alone when everyone was willing to share it. "No," said Nicole Barnes, her voice echoing from the mental network that now connected every living being in the galaxy. "We all do it. We all become the guardians. We share the responsibility among billions of minds instead of placing it on one." Amy Foster's final creation was not a weapon at all, but a transformation device. It took the combined will of every awakened consciousness and focused it into a force that could reshape reality itself. Instead of destroying the void wraiths, it offered them something they had forgotten existed, the possibility of redemption. "You were once like us," Amy called out to the energy beings that had consumed their own bodies in pursuit of power. "You were alive. You felt joy and wonder and love. You chose hunger over happiness, but that choice can be unmade." The climax of the battle was not a moment of destruction, but a moment of healing. The combined consciousness of the awakened galaxy reached out to the void wraiths and reminded them of what they had been before they chose the path of endless consumption. One by one, the energy beings began to remember their original forms, their original purposes, their original capacity for creation instead of destruction. "We had forgotten," whispered the voice of what had once been the void wraith leader. "We had forgotten what it felt like to build instead of tear down, to give instead of take." War singer Lyra Lai felt tears of joy flowing down her face as she watched the transformation take place. The beings that had terrorized the galaxy for millions of years were becoming something new, something wonderful. They were choosing to use their immense power to heal the damage they had caused instead of continuing their destructive path. The galaxy-consuming device that the void wraiths had built became something entirely different in their transformed hands. Instead of a weapon of ultimate destruction, it became a tool of ultimate creation. Reality itself began to heal as the barriers between dimensions were repaired and strengthened. Captain Maya Rodriguez, still merged with her ship and the greater consciousness of the fleet, felt the moment when the battle truly ended. It was not marked by explosions or surrender, but by the sound of children laughing on 1,000 worlds, by the sight of new stars being born in the nurseries of space, by the feeling of infinite possibility opening up before all living things. "We did it," she said, her voice carrying across the galaxy to every awakened mind. "Not by destroying our enemies, but by helping them remember how to be our friends." The transformed beings that had once been void wraiths dispersed throughout the galaxy, using their abilities to repair damaged worlds and restore ecosystems that had been consumed during their reign of terror. They had become the universe's healers instead of its devourers. Years passed, and the galaxy entered a new golden age. Earth became the center of a vast network of cooperation between countless species, all working together to explore the mysteries of existence and push the boundaries of what was possible. The awakened humans served as peacekeepers and bridge builders, their unique heritage allowing them to understand and communicate with any form of life they encountered. Captain Rodriguez, now existing as a living constellation of ships and consciousness, led the first expeditions beyond the edge of the galaxy. There were other galaxies out there, other forms of life to meet and learn from, other challenges to face and overcome. "The universe is vast," she told the young explorers who joined her expeditions. "And there are always new wonders to discover, new friends to make, new problems to solve." The ancient warriors returned not to conquer, but to connect. That's the true legacy of humanity, bringing people together. Amy Foster continued to build impossible things, but now her creations were tools of exploration and connection rather than weapons of war. Her workshop had become a place where beings from across the galaxy came to learn and share knowledge. Nicole Barnes expanded her mental network to include not just the awakened, but anyone who wanted to join the great conversation that was reshaping galactic civilization. Children played games with friends on distant worlds, scientists collaborated on projects that spanned multiple star systems, and artists created works that could only be fully appreciated by minds from different species working together. Veltara and her people reclaimed their role as the galaxy's gardeners, tending biosystems that created new forms of life and beauty wherever they went. The Nereids had learned that true freedom meant using their gifts to help others flourish. The story of humanity's darkest hour had become the galaxy's brightest dawn. When all had seemed lost, the ancient warriors had indeed returned. But they brought with them something more powerful than any weapon: the knowledge that no one had to face the darkness alone. Together, all things were possible. Together, the universe itself was theirs to explore and cherish and protect. And in the vast reaches of space, new adventures were always beginning.